Can you hear me now? Okay, thank you. So we'll get started. We're recording right now. Thank you for helping me out, and thank you for all of the patience from this past week. We are certainly not thrilled with the situation that we're having right now, and I wish I had good news that we would be getting back to the classroom quickly. But yesterday, what's
I
that?
can't hear you.
Sam can't hear me. All right, so I don't think I'm muted right now. Let me take a look. I'm not muted. So hopefully you guys are able to dip in and hear what's going on. Um, but there's a few different things that makes me not confident about getting back anytime soon, and the reason why is because of the fact that we do at this point have President Trump now very serious about the idea of responding to the coronavirus from the standpoint that he's no longer calling it a flu. He's saying it's something more. But for you guys, what you should realize is we had a press conference yesterday that had two really important elements to them. The first important element was that the governor of the state of Minnesota came out, and Governor Walz said, when asked about the idea of school coming back before the end of the school year, he said that the chances of that were very slight. And even worse for our prospects, the government doctors, Dr. Burke especially, President Trump has been hosting conferences every afternoon, and he's been inviting medical professionals to join him. And one of the medical professionals a couple days ago said that if we did everything right, we would have between 100 to 240,000 people pass away in the United States from coronavirus, which would be more deaths than that happened in most of the wars that we had during the 20th century. So, I mean, we're talking about like in Vietnam and Korea and other wars together. And she came out yesterday and said that her biggest problem was that there were many states and many people who still were not taking coronavirus seriously. In particular, Florida, Georgia, other southern states, they're seeing an explosion of coronavirus because there are many people there who are skeptical that this is as serious as it should be taken. And as a result, we don't have any way to lock down parts of the country that isn't something that would then cause huge problems. So we still have an interstate highway system that can take people from one part of the country to another. And in your case, North Dakota and South Dakota has absolutely no regulations on them at this current time. And if anybody from those states gets on the highway and comes here, you then have an uncontrolled spread of the virus taking place. And so while I'd love to be able to say to you that we'll be getting back together soon, I can't say that to you. And in particular, I want to talk to the group of people who I have in class who are taking AP biology. AP biology, the news came out today about what your test is going to look like. And so if you are an AP bio, they have told us that your test date is going to be Monday, May 18th at 1 p.m. And if you want to start preparing, they said that they're going to be having you write free response question number 1 and free response question number 4 under time limits. So you're going to get 25 minutes to write FRQ 1, 15 minutes to write FRQ number 4. And the reason why they're choosing those, if you are an AP Bio student, is because those are the questions that require you to demonstrate scientific skills, and they're really hard to Google search. So I'm assuming that your teachers are going to be talking to you soon about the details of that. We're getting more information today from the College Board. But if you are in that group, please make sure that you are staying dialed in. They are also releasing resources online to help you get prepared for that test. And again, your test will be Monday, May 18th at 1 p.m. So those are the details that we've gotten so far. For you and I, though, when it comes to U.S. history, my goal today is just to wrap up chapters 20 through 22. Ava, the tests will still be scored 1 through 5, which is going to make it really important for you to be able to do those 2 essays really well. And that's, again, Ms. Lautenschlager, Ms. Tchaikovsky. I'm assuming that they'll be reaching out to you soon if they've not yet. The only reason why they haven't really spoken to you yet about that is because of the fact that the College Board was holding it pretty close to their chest, what was going on with the test. But last night they gave a press conference that all of the AP teachers were allowed to attend. And then today around midday, they're going to be releasing even more details to tell us what's going on. If you think that your situation is bad, Ava, my AP US history kids are going to have their entire AP score. Depending on one essay test, they'll be doing a document-based question, and that will in its entirety determine if the kids get college credit or not. The nice thing is that for our test, and I'm assuming for yours, there are rubrics that are broken in chunks that allow us as readers to see as kids performing skills at different levels. And so even though it's one assessment, inside the assessment, you're demonstrating multiple skills that can be assessed to see if you can then bypass the college course in question. I do have a chat going on the right-hand side, so if you've got any questions, feel free to ask me so that I can help you out. But let me show you a couple different things. Number one, I would like to highlight for you our ongoing US history document. And so you've got a document right here that you should be accessing. You'll find that it's located right here on Schoology, the US history coronavirus absence ongoing activity log. I would have this document open without having to go back to Schoology. And the reason why Schoology has been a mess, I've been trying to message you through Schoology, and that messaging has been oftentimes either ignored or delayed by multiple hours. And so if you've been rolled up into that problem this past week and you've been missing messages from me, you'll notice that I will put the link right here for where our Google Meet is taking place. And then I also put the recording here, as well as inside of this Schoology folder. So you'll be able to find it multiple places. I would say, though, I trust Google much more than I trust Schoology at this point. Schoology's servers are getting overwhelmed on a daily basis. So this will explain what we're doing daily. Make sure you fill out this attendance form by 2 p.m. Eventually, they will be taking regular attendance, but for the past couple of days, we've had such horrible Schoology outages that if you've missed the past couple of days, I don't think it's going to cause much of a problem, but get used to being in the habit of just filling this out daily. Your activity that I have you working on this weekend is this chapter 20 through 22 short answer assessment. And I'm going to want you to have this done by Monday. So you'll notice that I've got a Schoology link that's available through Turnitin that I would like you to use to submit this assessment. We have not received any direction from the district yet as far as how we should proceed with your grades and with testing and assessments and whatever. And in particular, what I want to highlight for you is the College Board. If you are somebody who is AP Biology, your AP test in the spring is going to be timed. So your AP test in the spring, if you're in AP Biology, your free response number one, and you're going to get 25 minutes to take your free response, and then they're going to give you 5 minutes of upload time. And if you miss that time limit, you're done. You get a 0. When you do free response question number 4 on the AP Bio test, you'll get 15 minutes, then 5 minutes to submit. And if you miss that deadline, then you're done. For our assessment, though, we're not nearly that strict because we're not a high stakes college test. And for you guys also, this is meant to just kind of summarize the material that we were midway through studying, but it's meant to kind of wrap that up so I can start teaching you in a different way as we move forward, because of the fact that we're obviously going to be doing this for the near future. President Trump has already come to grips with the idea that we're not going back to normal at Easter. His doctors are saying at least 30 days is the time frame that we're looking at. I would not be surprised if we're doing this up until the end of the school year. But this is something where I would love to be surprised. I'd love to see the American people come together and do what they're supposed to do. But they're concerned that maybe we're not going to end up doing that. So for our quiz, you're just going to be taking the activity that I've got for you right here. So here is your chapter 20 through 22 short answer assessment. You've got questions aligned to each of the different parts of the textbook chapters that you read. And I'm just going to want you to answer in a way that is ATFQ, answer the full question, using a minimum of 3 sentences. and make sure you're using proper nouns, specific facts. So question 20.1, how did Adolf Hitler behave when England and France used appeasement to stop Germany from being aggressive? What I'm trying to ask you is, did appeasement work? And if it did or did not, I want you to use evidence from this chapter as proof about whether or not it worked. 20.2, how did Franklin Roosevelt shift the United States from isolationism to their entry into World War II? I want you to use these terms: neutrality acts, cash and carry, lend, lease, and Pearl Harbor. You saw Franklin Roosevelt shift America from isolationism to getting involved. And so make sure that you are answering that question fully in at least 3 sentences. This activity, my hope is it's not going to cause you a lot of problems, and you've got the weekend to work on it. Use your notes. So you use your text questions and your textbook to help you to answer each of these things. If any of these things throw you off, I am on your team. So if you get the feeling of, oh my goodness, I'm so stressed, I'm not ready for this, it's not that sort of test. It's me understanding that right now, this is like a wildfire breaking out. This is like a tornado hitting, and we're just trying to help you guys safely get through your content without too much stress and get you to a good place. If you have questions then about any of the things that I'm asking you and it seems like they're kind of tricky or confusing, let me help you out. If you are somebody who is on a learning plan and you've been getting assistance from either Carrie or John in our class, they're going to be contacting you to help you to understand how to do this assessment, and they'll be a good resource for you to use as well. And then if you are somebody, whether you are on a learning plan or not, who email maybe is not the way that you want to go, but perhaps you just realize that with one of the questions, it would be great just to be able to do what we do in class and have you raise your hand. Hey, Hohenstein, what are you meaning by this? Feel free to send me a message. I can set up a Google Meet with you, and we can just talk face to face to make sure you get it. So as you're looking at these activities right here, do not get the impression that this is meant to be tricky or is meant to hurt you in any sort of way. I just want to see you, in your own words, giving me proof that you understand these big concepts that we were playing around with before we started this extended break. And then that will allow me to transition to chapter 23 and beyond to be able to help you guys out. So let me stop sharing here. And I'm checking my chat to see if there are any questions that have just popped up. I do not see any. My camera is off. Weird. It says my camera's on. I don't know what I'm doing at this point. So anyway, if you are unable to see me, then I apologize. But here is the only other thing I need to add for you. So for today, get your attendance taken care of. So fill out the form. Also, get this activity done by 10 a.m. on Monday. That's your deadline. And then we'll meet again at 10 a.m. I will put the link onto both Schoology and onto your ongoing documents so you know where to log in. If you need to look at this again, I will be finishing this recording, and it should be available for you in about an hour. The only other group that I need to talk to, though, is my AP Biology people, because and this is not meant to scare you. This is just the fun thing that I learned yesterday, because the question popped up about using resources. Is this test timed? What's the scoring about? They actually told us that they have got equipment now that they're going to be using during the testing process that you have, where if you are in AP Biology, the natural thing that kids are thinking is, if this is open book, I might have the chance to use friends or cheat or whatever. They've got a few different things they told us last night that are meant to prevent that. Number one, you've only got a 25-minute time limit on FRQ number 1 and a 15-minute time limit on FRQ number 2. Number 4. In that time frame, if you do try to do Google searching and whatever, you're eating up valuable time, and they've set that time limit to be about the amount of time that you would need to type a good essay. So anytime you're spending searching around for stuff on the internet would be something that would hurt you when you're getting your essay done. But it was these things that made me intrigued by what they're up to. They're going to run your writing in AP Biology through some sort of program like I use with Turnitin to check to see if you're lifting any sorts of materials from the internet or from friends. The way that Turnitin works is when you submit an essay, If somebody else submits an essay that has been stolen from parts of yours, it then flags that for the reader so that they can see that there has been stuff that has been lifted. They are also planning on having you guys do something that I find incredibly intriguing. They're going to have you answer a series of baseline questions first. And if you've ever watched a police show where they have somebody hooked up to a lie detector machine, that lie detector machine is they use a series of questions to find out what's your heart rate, what's your pulse like, what's your blood pressure, what's your eyes doing, and then after they ask you a certain number of baseline questions, then they start quizzing you about what they want to learn. The College Board's going to do the same. They're planning on asking you a series of questions before you take the test. And the way that you answer those questions will then be compared to your essay. So if you write one way while answering the questions, but then your writing style significantly changes when you write your essays, that will be a flag to them that you might be plagiarizing by either turning in somebody else's essay, stealing from the internet, or whatever. But then the other thing that they're planning on doing is, and these two things boggle my mind. Number one, they're going to send your essays back to your teacher by May 26th. So if you're somebody who has not done well in AP Bio and then you turn in an amazing essay that is totally not your writing, your teachers will be able to see that on May 26th, and they're encouraged to contact the College Board about what you were up to. But then also on top of that, they said last night, and they weren't too detailed, but they said if they catch any student on social media, even attempting to strategize ways to cheat on the AP test, they are planning to notify colleges and testing services so that they're aware of you in the future, which would totally then ding your ability to get college testing approved and also college applications. I don't even know how they get that done. They were very much trying to impress upon us that even though you're going to be doing AP biology tests online, they're going to have methods to keep an eye on you to make sure that you're not doing something that's unethical. Let me remind you, though, before I wrap up today, what I just told you has nothing to do with the activity that we are doing. So for our activity that I'm showing you right here, use your textbook, use your notes. I am just looking to see, can you summarize in your own words the answers to those questions so we can easily move along with that content covered, with the understanding that this past week has been messy, it has been chaotic. If you've been confused or technology has not been fun, imagine what my house looks like. I've got a kid your age trying to do AP US History and prep for AP Bio electronically. I've got a 13-year-old boy who's got like 8 minutes of homework and then he's bored stiff. And then my wife and I are both doing online teaching with internet that just 10 minutes ago went out. And so we're pulling our hair out and our house looks like a bomb hit it. So if you're finding that this is not ideal, I am right there with you. And so we're just trying to all get through this together. So make sure you have this activity done by Monday. And then on Monday, we'll start up new things, taking a look at chapter 23, talking about our new strategies for how we're going to be teaching. Feel free to stay in touch. I'm going to check my chat one more time to see if anybody's got questions, but I think I took care of all of the questions you guys have. So enjoy your weekend. Try to get some time outside. If you're cooped up inside all the time, it's bad for your mental health. Get outside, do some walking, enjoy social distancing, so wave at people from afar, but also make sure that you are taking care of yourselves, because this hunkered down sort of thing is not the way that you're ideally supposed to be. So feel free to reach out if you need any sort of help or you have any problems. Enjoy your weekend. I'm excited to see you guys again on Monday, 10 a.m. And at that point, I'm hoping that you've got chapter 20 through 22 wrapped up so we can move on to new stuff. Good. I'll see you guys after the weekend's done. Thanks, guys.